Now, anything you say on social media can be held against you in a court of law. Author and media personality Jackie Phamotse has been found guilty on 2 counts of crimen injuria. It relates to a 2018 tweet defaming TV mogul Basetsana Khumalo and her husband Romeo Khumalo. Let's discuss this with legal expert Mpumelelo Zikalala. A very good morning to you, Mpumelelo, and thank you for your time today. Yes, there are 2 counts of crimen injuria against Jackie Phamotse, but there were 2 other counts, the third count being criminal defamation and the other being contempt of court. If you could highlight for us, Mpumelelo, what exactly it is that was considered by the magistrate in order to find Jackie Phamotse guilty on all 4 counts.
It all stems from our constitution. Our constitution is very clear under Section 9 and Section 10. It says that you have the right to be equally protected and get the benefits of the law. And then secondly, no one has the right to impair your dignity, and ways in which dignity is impaired if a person is going to engage in criminal injury. That's when they are going to publicize certain things which end up impacting or impairing on your dignity or invading your privacy, or if you are going to spread information which is false, because we all have our dignity in order to protect ourselves and our branding within the society. So if anyone is going to publicize, especially within the social media pages, then it means that they impaired you, and that's a criminal offense. So the court looked at all these things and said, is there publication that took place? Is a statement which has been stated true or false? Are the individuals whose dignities have been impaired? If the answer to that is yes, then we are going to hold the criminal liable. And with regard to being contempt of court, once the court has spoken and it's given instruction and prevented you from engaging in certain acts, anything that you do which is contrary to what you've been told not to do, it means that you are in contempt, and the full march of the law then comes after you to make sure that you don't do that wrong thing ever again.
So let's be clear here. As far as the court is concerned in this particular case, did they look at the merits of the content of the allegations and the statements that Phamotse had made, or were they purely looking at the issues of defamation of character and the protection order not being adhered to?
But part of it is also to look at what has been publicized. It has to say there is the truth at the end of the day. So if you are stating something which is not the truth, then it means you have defamed someone. And that's the only defense in which you can have if you have been charged with defamation or criminal injury, to say, all I was saying was simply the truth and nothing else. Now, if you can't prove whatever statement that you are saying, and the statement that you've uttered has got the consequences of damaging the reputation of the individual that is there, or has got the potential of invading the privacy of the person that is there, then definitely you've broken the law. The law is very clear in terms of that. It says your dignity is the one thing that can't be taken away from you, and it's the one thing that needs to be protected. So if you are going to have individuals who are going to utter statements which are not truthful, that's where you are going to have a problem. And the court will definitely look into the accuracy of the truthfulness of whatever that you are saying. And it's a defense that you can have if you are being sued for defamation or criminal injury.
Now, one of the questions that the South Africans who have been following this case have been asking is that when the tweet first went out initially, there was no mention of anybody's name or mention of anybody's identity, yet there was the phrase a South African television mogul and her husband. How then does one move from those identifiers, so to speak, to actually attaching a name to those identifiers?
Well, even though you haven't mentioned the person's name, if there are certain attributes which are going to be linked to that particular individual, then it's easy for a person on the streets or a member of the public to then understand who exactly are we referring to. Then it sort of fits in the definition of that particular crime. You must also remember that there may be other sub-tweets that have followed after that pertaining to that, or maybe if there was a letter of demand which was issued, there's then an admission indirectly saying that, yes, I was referring to you, just that I didn't mention your name. It then means that it's very clear from the intention point of view for a person who was writing that particular tweet or sending out that particular message within the social media realm to say, this is the person which I'm identifying. So at the end of the day, even though it takes a bit from the side of the law enforcement agencies to do that particular investigation, if an investigation can be done and it's clear that this is the person in which you are directing this particular tweet or this particular social media message to, then it's easy for a person to be caught and to be brought to book in terms of these criminal proceedings.
Mpumelelo, as I let you go, How much of an impact did Phamotse's book, I Write What I Like, So Sue Me, actually have on the outcome of this case?
I think it was something which was greatly looked at, because at the end of the day, removing the quote that you've stated, the title of the book, wouldn't have survived, wouldn't have sold, wouldn't have got media attraction as much as it did if it wasn't for the tweet and all these proceedings which were taking place now. So I think the court was also trying to send a silent message to say, don't engage in marketing gimmicks, which at the end of the day, they end up impairing other people's dignity. People have worked very hard to protect their brands. They've worked very hard to build the social status in which they now belong to. So you can't on your own just simply ride on that particular wave and simply think that the law is going to be lenient to you. At the end of the day,
and we're going to have to leave it at that, unfortunately, for this morning. Time not on our side, but thank you so much for your insight and your input in this particular issue. Now, one thing that is for sure, Gareth, is that issues of defamation, especially when it comes to social media, are so rife, and this is said to be a landmark case, a landmark ruling regarding defamation. You can't just actually say anything about somebody without necessarily backing it up, because they can take it to the courts, and if precedent is anything to go by, the precedent has already been set.
Yeah, it's like writing a defamatory article about someone, or saying something about someone on television. The same rules apply, but I think a lot of people take social media very lightly, very flippantly, without actually realizing what the laws are. So clearly, this is going to be a landmark case, so you need to be very careful what you say on social media. You're not safe behind your cell phone keyboard. I'm sure unpack that as we get closer to that court case as well. All right, it's 10.